Hello everyone, welcome to this cycle of videos I'm preparing here about Bible stories. I hope everyone is doing good. God bless you all. And let's start. Today we are talking about Abraham, a very known person in many different places for many different peoples with very different mindsets. That's a good thing that we have here someone that is not only known for certain, like only the Jews or only the Muslim or only other people. No, it's actually he's very well known in many different places. Abraham was born in a place called Ur of the Chaldeans. This place is a place that today would be like on Iraq, on the eastern side of the area where they normally move. Let's say so, because of course the Mesopotamia area. And then he was initially called Abram, shorter name Abram, which normally means something like the big father. But when he was, I'm gonna tell something in advance here, when he was 99 years old, also in that time they lived longer, when he was 99 years old, he had a vision. He had a vision of God telling him, making a covenant with him, telling him that because he's gonna be the father of many nations, of many people, his name would no longer be just Abram, he will be called Abraham. And so that's how he's today called Abraham by everyone. But that was not his birth name, I'm just clarifying. But still here during all this, I'm referring to him as Abraham, and just only to keep in mind that also initially his name was just Abram. But yeah, good. Also he was born there in this place, Ur of the Chaldeans. His father, Terah, lived there. They worked doing statues, also like little figures. They lived out of that. They had actually a good living. They were kind of, let's say, wealthy compared to the average people. And well, he had a brother. His brother died. It's not written how old they were, but of course it was not normal that his brother died and his father was still alive. So the father saw his son dying, and that was not normal. It was a big thing. And there was a son, also the nephew from Abraham, Lot. And so Abraham took Lot under his protection, and he was then raised by him from then on under his protection again. And so, okay, one day his father decided to go towards the western side of that location, to a place. They traveled to a place called Haran. And in Haran, there they lived many more years until Abraham's father died. And so at this point, that's like the first time when it's mentioned how old he was. It said that Abraham was 75 years old, and he got a vision. He got a vision from God telling him, yeah, leave your place, leave your city, leave your family, go to the place that I'm going to show you. And he followed that. He will follow the lead, And he started traveling. He took his wife, by the way, he has married Sarai was his wife. Later, when he was 99 years old again, his wife also was renamed. Instead of Sarai, she was called Sarah. So let's from now on also mention that she is Sarah. And so he went with Sarah, his wife, and also with his nephew, Lot. And by the way, one particular reality that he was facing is he could not have children because his wife could not bear children. But God was telling him, when he got this vision, God was telling him he will be the father of many people. That's why he got renamed. And he was expected to have many descendants. But again, this seems like a contradiction because his wife could not bear children. And we will not expect any different, but well, that's how it was. But still, he was okay. He was kind of okay with that and peaceful. And he just went southern in that moment. Also from Haran, he went southern. And again, we have to also kind of think that it was not just the three of them. It was not just like saying Abraham, his wife, and his nephew, and that's it. No, they had servants, and it's written that they had also acquired many properties, many people. Also, they acquired people, they had servants, but a lot of them, families, entire families. And so that will be many people traveling together. And so he went south, came to a place called Canaan. Canaan was a region, and this region later was to be called Israel. Also, that's a place. And so in the covenant, by the way, that God was telling him when he was 99 years old later, God was telling him that this land of Canaan will belong to his descendants. So it will be his land. But for now, he was just traveling. He was kind of a foreigner. He arrived to a location. Maybe also there were no. Also apparently it was desert people. I mean, there was no people there, and so he built an altar there in honor to God in a place that later was to be called Hebron. So just mentioning this, also kind of, if you look in the map, so you will locate that. Not too far from what today is also Jerusalem, but in that time there was nothing about that. And so, well, he established himself there, so he felt that that was the place that God was telling him. He was around 75 years old. There was a point then when, after some time, the weather was not so good, because this was a desertic area, and he had many people again. So there was a famine, and they decided to then travel to Egypt. Egypt was just going southern a bit longer, and in Egypt, they could find food. But one thing happened there, which is very particular here. Traveling to Egypt, he was thinking that because his wife was a very beautiful woman, very attractive, and he was thinking, my gosh, they could kill me if they ever figure out that this is my wife, and to get hands on her, the Pharaoh or people in Egypt would be willing to kill me. So he told his wife, Sarah, to tell everyone that they were brother and sister. And so, uh, well, that was like an agreement they had, and they also went traveling there to Egypt, and in Egypt they they established themselves in Egypt. Very soon they were noticed. Also they were noticed, and the Pharaoh was told about them and about the woman that was so beautiful, and indeed the Pharaoh wanted to marry her. And they were trying to go and inviting her. They got many gifts. Also Abraham and Lot, both they got as gifts many even servants and wealth. And so, but when they were about to do that, there was then something happening in Egypt. Also, it turns out that because the Pharaoh wanted something with Sarah, which was the wife of Abraham, some bad things started happening in Egypt. Bad things. Also, really, some plagues came there, and initially they didn't know what, but then the Pharaoh realized that it was related with Abraham being actually not the brother but the husband of this woman. And so after he figured that out, he threw them out of Egypt. And so he told her, yeah, how you tell me that this is your sister when in reality it's your wife? And it was actually, they were kind of lucky that the Egyptian people didn't kill them. They just threw them out, but they kept everything they had. And so they were wealthy people, and they came back and continued there in Canaan, living for years to come. And so, yeah, life was going on. After that, but again, there was one day that Sarah thought, well, they don't have a child, and she became impassioned, and she actually suggested to Abraham, hey, go into my servant, and maybe you can have a child from her, and we will have an heir. And indeed, that's what happened. Also, Abraham got a son out of Hagar, a servant from Sarah, and they called the boy Ishmael. And well, at this point they had a boy, but this was not completely how it was supposed to happen, because it was with a servant. And actually with time there some tension started growing up between that servant now having the baby and the boy from the boss, from Abraham. And that servant was confronting Sarah and thinking that she was better because she could bear a child. It was kind of really important for women in that time. And Sarah was feeling bad, but for now she couldn't do anything. But then the next that we can see there is there was this covenant again when Abraham was 99 years old, and let's jump around there. In that same year that he was 99 years old, 3 guys came visiting him. So well, they were traveling around, and he somehow recognized something in these three guys that were in visit, and he considered that very important, and he insisted to invite them to have to eat with them together, to stay in the night. And he recognized, or at least Abraham treated one of the guys like the Lord. He was always telling her, the Lord. And indeed, the Lord, through this man, was telling him, yeah, you will be a father in 1 year. And that sounded like something difficult to understand, almost like impossible for them to understand, because yeah, they were very old now. He was 99 years old. His wife was like 10 years younger, like 89. It's also written that she no longer had the, also she really now could not biologically bear children. Also, and still, those guys told her, she was laughing, and then they asked, why do you laugh? But it turns out, yeah, so that's what they told her, they told them. And then they were about to leave, but when they were about to leave, they also told Abraham about the plans they had to go and destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah were, in that time, the biggest cities around, and they were also all commerce and all trades and everything was moving around those cities, but there was also a lot of bad people. They were almost only bad people in those cities. And Abraham, because his nephew, also in the beginning, we told that he was traveling with Lot, and with Lot they went also to Egypt and came back, but after that Lot was separated, and he went to Sodom. And so, worried about Lot, Abraham tried to negotiate with the Lord, with these guys, and told them, yeah, no, please don't destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. What if some people are just people, are good people? And well, they told you, yeah, if there were 50 people that were good, then we will not destroy the city. And then if, he told, well, what if it's only 30 people or 20? And he arrived to 10, and they said, yeah, if there are 10 people, we will not destroy. But it turned out that not even that number of people were like worth saving. And so those cities got destroyed. Many people are familiar with the fact that Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed. I'm not gonna go into details about that right now, so I'm gonna prepare a different video explaining all details about Sodom and Gomorrah and how this happened. But for now, for Abraham, it just meant, well, he continued his life after they left, and well, he was. It was actually true. The next year, they got a boy. Also, a boy was born, and they called him Isaac. And so now, when Isaac was born, Abraham was 100 years old. But also the other boy, Ishmael, he was around 14 or something. And the boy was also always kind of mean to his little brother, and Sarah could just not bear it, because Sarah was also having tensions with Hagar, the mother of the other boy, and they ended up also telling Hagar to leave with her son Ishmael, But still, also, it's not so that Abraham would told just blindly them to leave. In a vision, God told him that because he was his son, he would also be blessed, and he would also be the father of nations, same as Isaac, only that Isaac had the blessing for the main lineage, because Isaac was born out of the spouse, out of his wife. But still, Ishmael was promised to also have a good life. And there will be also some different video explaining more about Ishmael and Hagar. But yeah, for now, let's say so, they continued their life without them. And so it was now finally only the family here, Abraham with Sarah and Isaac. And yeah, time passed, they continued living. They were actually happy that they had a boy. And it turns out, when this boy was growing up, when he was like a teenager or something, it's not, again, not written how exactly how old he would be. One day, again in a vision, God told Abraham he would need to sacrifice his son, his only son Isaac. And that was like a test. It was a very heavy and very challenging test for any father would be. Imagine that. And so I just wanna here make a little pause, like let's try to imagine this. Also, let's recount again. Abraham was 75 years old when he left Haran with the promise that he will be the father of many nations and will have many descendants. Now, after 25 years, when he was 100 years old, finally he got his promise of the first son that would be the first person in these descendants. And now the Lord is telling him to sacrifice him. Wow, that must be really heavy. Still, it's not this, in the Bible is not telling that he was like angry or upset with God. No, the next day what he did was he took Isaac, the boy, and he took two of the servants, and they prepared like for a sacrifice that was kind of common in that time. It was common to do sacrifices with sheep or with goats, also with animals. And so yeah, they say that they needed to do a special sacrifice, and they went to the mountains where God told him to go. And at some point they left the two servants and they continued just alone, Abraham and Isaac. At some point it's also written, Isaac told him, yeah, well, we have everything like for this sacrifice. We have the wood, we can make fire here, we can prepare everything. But where is the lamb, or where is the sacrifice? And the answer from Abraham was just, God will provide. That's what he told, yeah, God will provide. Also, Abraham was not able to tell his son that God told him to sacrifice. But in the end, he was about to do that, because he was about to fulfill God's mission, and he tied his son, and he had the knife, and he was ready, really ready. But in that moment, God told him to stop. A voice, he heard something to stop and to watch up. And then he watched it. There was the lamb was there. There was a goat there for the sacrifice. And he understood immediately, oh, that's it. We don't need to I don't need to sacrifice my boy. Well, let's say that's what I'm assuming he thought it's not written, but yeah, he immediately stopped it, and then yeah, he just back out, and with his son they took the land and made the sacrifice, and they came back to their mother, also to Isaac's mother, and they were happy again. Oh, well, they were always happy. Also, they never had troubles, but there was relief maybe in Abraham about now. And it said that with this test, pretty much God was telling Abraham, or was convinced now, that Abraham was the correct selection, that he will be the one they can, that for this mission and for what is today known for. Also, Abraham is today called the father of faith, because 25 years waiting for this son, and then after that it's supposed to expect these many descendants, and he was really believing that it was so, and that's what happened. But he actually, during his lifetime, he could not be a witness of that, not a lot. But okay, let's say so. Again, in that moment, when that happened with Isaac, he was like maybe around 114 or something. And it said like, when Abraham was around 137 years old, his wife Sarah died. So that's what is written also. Sarah died. And so with time, Abraham took one of the other servants, and with this woman called Keturah, with this woman he got another 6 children. Now this woman could bear children. And he lived until he was 175 years old. He had a peaceful life, always peaceful life. And he was also, he had a natural death, also in old age, 175 years old. And well, the legacy we got from Abraham is a legacy of faith, and this promise that he received, because I forgot to mention that the promise was not about the number of people, but the promise was also in the covenant they made, that God told him, if you always live in the way, in the correct way that should be, you will be blessed, and your descendants will be blessed, and whoever bless them will be also blessed, but whoever curse them or attack or do something to their children, they will be also cursed, and they will have really bad times. Also, whoever blessed will be blessed, but whoever is against them, God will be against them, and they will be in deep trouble. And that was the promise, and this promise is made to everyone, and later in life, we will be, that it covers really so many millions of people. But let's not go deeper there. I just wanted to, also this video was about Abraham's life. And so, I hope you guys enjoyed this story here about Abraham. If you liked it, please like the video here. And I invite you to also subscribe to this channel. And we will have more stories with time. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And let's see on the next videos. Thank you very much.